It's the most wonderful time of the year, at least for plants. Let's talk about summer. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan and this is Bane's Botanicals. Today we're going to be talking about summer. But before we do, I just want to thank you guys so much for your likes and subscribes and for your subs and just for your comments especially, because it just means so much to me keeping in touch with you guys. And I know I've been kind of intermittent the past couple of weeks. For those of you who don't know, I work at Walmart and my store is going through a remodel. That happens about once every 10 years, and this is our 10th year of being open. So it's exciting, it's a lot of change, but in the middle of that, they decided to send me to a class for 2 weeks that has nothing to do with the remodel. And tomorrow's my last day there. So it's just been a little difficult to sit down and make some videos for you guys just because I've just been so busy. But I'm going to play catch up. So thank you guys so much. Now, as far as summer goes, everybody has their favorite season, right? I love summer. I think summer, especially summer nights, are just so magical. Like, the world is just full of infinite potential on a summer night, right? The insects are chirping and the birds are singing, and maybe a full moon and the smell of honeysuckle. Like, it's just amazing. But even during the day, I mean, all of the trees are just so green and full and verdant, and just like stormy afternoons and everything. There's just so much to love about summer, as opposed to winter when everything is just kind of dark and cold and depressing. I mean, there is like a coziness to it, but only for about a month, and then I'm ready for it to be spring. So summertime is obviously the time that your plants love also, especially the ones that you put outside. Now, one of the most common questions that I've seen people ask is, what plants do I put outside during the summer? Well, the answer to that is you have to kind of consider where your plants come from in nature. So something like a fern, other than a Boston fern, I'm talking like your why am I blanking? What is back there? Oh, like an asplenium or an adiantum, like the maidenhair fern, even like other ferns like Dryopteris, like the rabbit's foot fern. Most ferns in general don't want to be outside, just because, especially here where I live, the heat can get really intense and they'll just dry out so fast. They don't want full sun. Even the Boston ferns like Nephrolepis, those do well outside, but even those don't like to be in the sun. They like to be in the shade, and they have to be kept moist or they dry out. That's just how it is. As opposed to, I don't know if you guys can hear my cat meowing, but as opposed to something like a cactus or plants that are trees in nature, like ficus, those kind of things like to be outside. They like getting a little bit of direct sun once you acclimate them. They really benefit from it, and I'll give you a good example here in just a sec. But really just consider looking up your plant and just seeing how it does. Something like, for example, this is an Alternanthera. I did a video on this a long time ago. Alternanthera is a very thirsty plant. Most of them are kind of semi-aquatic, so they wouldn't really do well in full sun. It would just vaporize them, right? I mean, even inside, I have to water this thing probably once every 2 or 3 days just to keep it alive. But I love the name, and it's just a neat looking plant. It even looks like it should be underwater a little bit, doesn't it? If you guys ever look at aquatic plants, it kind of looks like an aquatic plant, and in fact, most of the other species of Alternanthera are aquatic. So anyway, where were we at? Oh yeah, no matter what plant you decide to put outside, make sure you acclimate it. I mean, by now, everybody's plants are probably already outside because you kind of do that in the spring. But just give them, 4 hours outside one day, and then maybe 6 hours the next day, and 8 hours. And take into consideration how much sun is your porch or your patio getting. Like, even the most hardy cactus will burn and scorch in full sun if you don't acclimate it. So just be careful. What else about summer? Summer is the time when your plants are growing the most. They're done with their kind of bouncing out of their dormant period in spring, and summer is just their time to thrive. It's their time to be, right? Now, some of you live in parts of the world where the seasons don't really change much. I mean, Ray, I'm looking at you down there near the equator. Most of the seasons are basically the same. But here in like the temperate areas of the United States, I mean, we go through all 4 seasons, and our houseplants do the same thing. Even inside, you can see a difference because at this point, you know, we should be fertilizing probably every couple of weeks. We're probably watering more frequently because they are definitely growing, and you can see it. You can see that difference because they're done being dormant. They are ready to go. So there's really not a whole lot to say about summer other than make sure that you're watering more frequently because your plants are photosynthesizing more, and just making sure that you're fertilizing because since your plants are growing, they need those nutrients from that fertilizer. And I say once every couple of weeks because you don't want to over-fertilize. It can scorch the leaves of your plant, no matter what plant it is. Some plants prefer fertilizer more than others. Ferns, you don't really fertilize that much, as opposed to like tropical plants. You do fertilize them, you know, pretty regularly just so that they can continue developing foliage or flowers. But yeah, and there's really not a whole lot you need to do for your plants in the summer because one of the keys of houseplant care is learning when to leave your plants alone. Like, it can be tempting when you're kind of a new plant parent to be like, oh, I gotta touch it all the time, and I gotta water it a lot and repot it every month, and because people just don't know, right? I mean, they're just getting into the hobby. Maybe they've never been exposed to that kind of thing. Look at this thing falling down. That's so ridiculous. Okay. But yeah, one of the keys is just to leave them be. I mean, your tropical plants, for instance, you don't want to water them all the time. Water them maybe once every 6 or 7 days. These two here, I watered this one yesterday. This one is ready to be watered. I touched the soil, it's dry, it needs water. Summertime is especially the time you don't want your certain plants to dry out all the way because they're just going through that water so quickly. So you want to make sure you replenish it in a timely manner. And of course, that's going to be different for every plant, hence why I've been doing these plant care videos so that hopefully you guys can have a good library to reference once we're done. So, since we have kind of discussed summer, I figure I would show you guys a couple of plants that I've gotten recently. I haven't been doing a ton of plant shopping, but I've still probably spent like $200. I've been trying to get a few plants ready for the last few videos of our plant care series, and there's just been a few that I'm like, I'm gonna get this again and give it a try. Because when I fail with something, I'll probably wait about a year and then I'll try it again if I like it a lot. And like I said, with this Alternanthera, I like this one a lot. I think this is the same species I featured in my video. This is not the same plant. That plant died a long time ago, so it was time to try it again. I also have this beautiful Tenanthe, and it's just so full and lush. And I've been wanting a Tenanthe again because I lost my other one in the move when we moved into a new house in November. And I think of the 4 prayer plants, Tenanthe, Stramanthe, Maranta, Calathea, oh, there's 5, Goapertia, right? I think Tenanthe is probably my second favorite. I just really love the leaves. They're just a little bit different shape than the other prayer plants, and usually the striping on them is really nice as well. My favorite is going to be Maranta. Like, I just love Marantas. The leaves and the veining on them is gorgeous. The Maranta I have is a silver band Maranta, which is pretty cool. It's not something you see very much, right? I mean, mostly you just see the lemon lime and the red. But yeah, I don't really care. Well, we're digressing. But also here I have my Ardesia, and I want to say this is the same one from the video. You can see that it is getting tall. And this plant is not a plant that a lot of people have heard of. They're a little bit difficult to find, really, just because since people haven't heard of it, there's not a lot of demand for it. But I got this one, and it was maybe about this tall when I got it last year. So that's how much it's grown. I've lost a few bottom leaves, which I don't know enough about Ardesia to be able to tell you if it's supposed to lose the bottom leaves. Because when you think about a species of plant that's a tree, it's going to lose the bottom leaves because that's what they do. I mean, walk outside and look at the trees outside, right? I mean, they don't have leaves on the bottom. So it's not an uncommon thing for that to happen. But when I kind of touch this, like the bottom of this, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but you're noticing what looks like a little bit of secondary growth. Now, what do I mean when I say that? I'm talking about the woody growth that you would typically call bark, but I mean, even shrubs and stuff have it too, that's just not as thick. It's just that it's a really hard secondary layer of a plant structure, which we'll get more into that in another video. But as a plant matures, it starts to get that secondary growth on it, you know, if it's the kind of plant that does that. What I have noticed about this, I know I'm rambling about Ardesia, but I'm really excited about this. I had it under my grow light back here on that shelf, and I noticed it started to branch on its own. And I'm just so impressed by that, because I've had other plants that if it's just one like stalk, like one shoot, it stays one shoot. And maybe it would branch out eventually, but for as long as I own that plant, it always stays as one. And let's say that, I think it was a Ficus elastica. You can notch them, like notch them under the internode, or is it above the internode? Well, anyway, and it should, in theory, start to branch, but I don't know, that's just, sometimes that just seems like more trouble than it's worth. But if you can master it, cool. But this one, it did it on its own, and it's gotten so wide at the top now. I mean, look at how it's starting to just look more and more like a tree. So that's pretty cool. And then I noticed tonight, this very night, I noticed, because I was looking at it, look at these little, hang on, let me find a good angle for you guys. Ah, that's better. Look at these little tiny, well, structures. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. They're kind of pink on the bottom, and I'm almost certain that this thing is getting ready to flower. Hang on, look at that. Where is it? Right there. See those structures? Those are not new leaves. I'm almost certain this is going to flower. I have no idea what an Ardesia flower looks like. I mean, I'll probably look it up, but part of me doesn't want to. I want to be surprised. Is it going to smell good? What color is it going to be? How long is it going to last? Like, that's just so exciting to me that this might flower, because it's a mystery. I mean, you could get, like, another good example would be like a lipstick plant. Maybe you got a lipstick plant, you don't know what color it is, you don't know what species it is, and when you see that bud appear, you're excited, right? You want to know what that flower is going to look like. I mean, the flowers of like the pink passion Asiananthus are a little bit different than the regular lipstick, right? Anyway, it had spider mites recently, so I had to treat that. So the top leaves look a little jankety. I'm not really that worried about it. I still think it's an awesome plant. But yeah, boy, we sure digressed off of summer, didn't we? Well, how about this? Let me know what your favorite season is and why. If, you know, seasons apply to you. And one other thing that I wanted to ask you guys is I'm thinking about doing a live stream, maybe once a week. I thought maybe we could all get together for an hour. I know that I'm not going to be able to meet everybody's schedule, but I'm going to try for a weekend day so that I can try to get as many people as possible that want to join, just to have a little round table perhaps about plants. I mean, I could think of a couple subjects that we could talk about. You guys can suggest something, maybe your favorite plants or different strategies you have for certain plant care, or just to get to know each other a bit, right? I mean, so far we've just been communicating through comments, which is great. I mean, that's fine, but I think it would just be fun to hear from you guys. Well, I guess you guys would still be typing and you would only hear me talking, but still, it could be fun. If you guys have any specific days that work best, like I said, I know everybody's days are going to be different, but I just want to get an overall census of like what days work. Do weekends work? I mean, that seems logical, but I mean, I work weekends, but I open some weekends, so I'd like have the evenings off. So I was thinking maybe Saturday or Sunday evening around 7, maybe 8. And when I say 7 or 8, I mean Central Time in the United States. So convert it however you need to, but yeah. And I will make a formal announcement when I do decide to do that, so I can give you guys a week or two in advance to, you know, I don't know, clear your schedule. I wouldn't keep you guys that long, but I just thought it'd be fun. I want to start doing a couple of different things on the channel since I've been kind of absent, and we are getting close to the end of our plant care list. We are on the S's. There's a couple I've got to go back and do, but it's getting close, you guys. Anyway, like I said at the beginning of the video, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything. You guys mean so much to me, and I really have been trying to at least keep up on my comments while I've been kind of away so that you guys know I'm still around. But yes, until the next video, I will see you guys very soon. Thank you.